So today I'll be evaluating the precautionary principle. So what is the precautionary principle? The precautionary principle states that when a human-induced activity raises a significant threat or harm to the environment or human health, then precautionary measures should be taken, even if there is no scientific consensus regarding cause and effect. So this is put into place because getting scientific proof or scientific consensus might require time, and by the time we reach a consensus, some irreversible harm would have already affected our environment, and that would be bad. So before we get into the reasons of the pros and cons of the precautionary principle, I'll first talk about greenhouse gases. As we know that the Earth's temperature is regulated by a steady equilibrium between the radiation that reaches our Earth's surface and the radiation that's reflected back into space. The greenhouse gases are the gases that are responsible for trapping the radiation within our atmosphere. So greenhouse gases are gases such as methane, carbon dioxide, oxides of nitrogen, and they are responsible for absorbing infrared radiation and reflecting it back to the Earth. And this is what basically keeps our Earth's atmosphere warm. And due to the increase in carbon emissions due to human activity, this has caused an increase in the Earth's temperature. As we can see from these graphs, there has been a steady rise in the Earth's temperature over the past couple of decades. From this graph, as you can see from the steady carbon emission increase, and by looking at the other graph, we can see that the carbon dioxide has exponentially increased within the past 20,000 years. So the reasons behind the increase in carbon dioxide emissions. So as in our world, here are several places that we can find the greenhouse gases. For example, carbon dioxide is released from exhaust from cars and the combustion of coal and petroleum at power plants and factories, and from forest fires by clearing of tropical forests for farms. And sources of nitrous oxides can also be found in car exhausts. And methane is released due to the breeding of cattle. So because of the increase in greenhouse gases, there will be consequences. Firstly, there is a prediction that due to these releases, global warming of the Earth will increase by up to 3.75 degrees Celsius over the next 50 years. And due to this increase in temperature, there might be melting of glaciers at the polar ice caps, which in turn will rise the sea levels and will cause flooding of lowlands. And due to the changes in weather patterns, some regions may become cooler and some might become warmer, which would lead to more frequent storms and hurricanes in certain areas and increased severity of weather conditions in other areas. And because of these changes, there may be loss of habitat within several environments and the loss of biodiversity. And there will also be increased spread of vector-borne diseases due to some diseases preferring warmer areas. And because of these reasons listed above, this is why the precautionary principle is important and is implemented to stop global warming. Even though some say that there is no proof for global warming, there is still a correlation between human gas releases and increase in global temperatures. So even if there is a lack of proof, the precautionary principle should be followed as a safety measure if we believe that a certain activity is negatively impacting the environment and could only be resumed if there is scientific proof to back it up. However, as with every action, there will be some consequences. By cutting down greenhouse emissions, this might delay economic growth within developing countries, which will further increase poverty within these regions. Secondly, this is very difficult to police because what level of action will be considered sufficient on a global scale in the current absence of scientific proof? Not many people would stop the production of their factories if there is no scientific proof backing up their carbon emissions. And also, there is no guarantee that human intervention will be sufficient to alter global climate changes. And because of the addition of the precautionary principle, this might restrict future development of technologies. And that's it.